The method of citation that we'll be using in this essay is called parenthetical citation. This is a method of giving credit to another author's work that you're using in your own writing. You will also sometimes hear parenthetical citations referred to as in-text citations. You'll want to use a parenthetical citation anytime you're quoting another author directly or anytime that you're paraphrasing another author's words or ideas. In order to have a correctly formatted parenthetical citation, inside of parentheses, you'll need the author's last name or shortened version of the article title that you're referencing. When you're using parenthetical citations, you don't need to include anything like in the text it says, or the author writes in such and such article that blah, blah, blah. All of that is already considered covered because you have the parenthetical citation as well as the works cited at the end of your essay. Go ahead and pause the video here, finish taking your notes, and then move on. In this document that you're working in, 6.10, you'll see that you have a table that lists how to put together a parenthetical citation. So for example, if the source that you're quoting has one author, you'll give your introductory part of your sentence, human beings have been described as. Your quotation marks indicate that you're using a direct quote copied word for word from the author. Then you'll open your parentheses, type the author's last name, close your parentheses, and finish up with your period. The procedure is more or less the same for two authors. You'll simply use the word and include the second author's last name. If you have three or more authors, you'll use the first author's last name and then the Latin abbreviation et al. If you're quoting someone else that's been quoted within an article, you'll use the word quoted abbreviated and the source that it's quoted in, so QTD in Weisman. And if the source that you're referencing doesn't have an author or you can't find an author, you can use a simple shortened version of the title. So if the title were The Impact of Global Warming in America, you could shorten it to Impact of Global Warming so that it doesn't break up the flow of your writing. Next, let's do a little bit of practice. These questions you'll be asked to answer using either a direct quote or paraphrased evidence and include a parenthetical citation. The text that you'll need is linked. You can go ahead and open it up. So our first question, what did Jack and Beverly Wilgus find in their collection of vintage photographs? We'll return to the text and read together. Jack and Beverly Wilgus, collectors of vintage photographs, no longer recall how they came by the 19th century daguerreotype of a disfigured yet still handsome man. So that answers our first question. You can go ahead and copy that text since we're going to be quoting directly, and then we'll move it to answer this question. Jack and Beverly Wilgus found A. Open your quotes to indicate that is the beginning of quoted material word for word. Daguerreotype of a disfigured yet still handsome man. Close the quotation marks to indicate that the quote is complete. In their collection of vintage photographs, then we open up our parentheses. We write in the author of this article's last name, Toomey. Close the parentheses, and then add a period at the end. Similarly, for paraphrased information, what was Beverly Wilgus told about her photograph by a whaling enthusiast? If we go back here and we read the last little paragraph here, soon a whaling enthusiast emailed her a dissent, that is no harpoon, which suggested the man was no whaler. This is the quotation that I'm referencing, but I'm not going to quote it directly. I'm simply going to paraphrase it. Beverly Wilgus was told that her initial assumption about the photograph was incorrect and that the object in the picture was not a harpoon to me. So I have the information that's here, but I've put it in my own words, and I'm still referencing that author's last name within the parentheses. Go ahead and pause the video here, then complete the rest of the practice by yourself. Answer each of these questions using either a direct quote or paraphrased evidence and including a parenthetical citation. When you're finished, have Miss LP check your work.